He's done discing. We're gonna drill through here. We're gonna plant green this spring when it's really tall, put armor on the soil, start building up that microbe population, make better soil and bigger antlers.
Down in Alabama today, visiting property. Grant actually laid out the Habitat Improvement Project in 21, I believe.
Yes, 21.
Came in, laid out a plan, and the landowner has done an incredible job implementing the plan, has really turned this property around in just a few years. James is the property manager. He's the guy that's getting it all done and doing a fantastic job, and just really proud of James' work. And as we travel through this property, I'm doing a little update. We're gonna share what James has been doing, some of his observations, and some of the success they've had. In fact, today, they're actually putting fire on the ground, and it's looking awesome. So, James, we stopped by this redneck. This was an old cutover, is that right?
Yes, yes.
And Grant laid out and said, hey, let's turn this cutover into a big food plot, put a redneck right here, and tell me what you've seen out of here, James.
Well, we've killed a 140 about 2 years ago out of it.
Whoo, a 140 out of that redneck?
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome. Bunch of turkeys in here?
Yes, got quite a few turkeys with all the clovers. They come right in here.
And you turn this cutover into a food plot. Just tell me about the steps that you took to kind of convert that, and what that looks like through the process, and what you've seen happen since you put some good food in here.
Like I said, it was cut over, you couldn't get through it. And
bunch of sweet gums and all that.
Everything, stumps and just junk. We got the excavators and brought in here and dug up the stumps.
Put everything in the middle, right, and burned and buried it, and leveled it out, so it's ready to plant.
Yeah, and then we did soil sample on it, and applied the lime, and then the fertilizer was calling for, and then we just started planting the green cover in the fall, and beans in the summertime.
And you're no-till drilling.
Right.
And you're using
everything.
A crimper too?
Yes, yes.
And what have you seen in the soil?
It's building soil out of it.
Yeah.
Yes, we're building soil and everything, growing and not applying a lot of fertilizer.
And not using as much herbicide either, right? Is that correct?
Yes, all in the spraying the beans, just do a little spot spraying where a weed or two comes up here and there.
They've got enough acres here, we can get some beans to grow. And because this was kind of reclaimed new ground, if we could get some beans to grow, great. And he can spot treat those weeds and then plant that green cover right into those standing beans, and we get those pods and greens, and that's really paid off. Your clover looks really good. And, I mean, there's a lot of browse out here, but we still got a lot of groceries out here for deer going into spring. And what have you seen, you know, from a hunting point of view, now that you got acres of food? You know, you killed a 140 out of here. Are you seeing a lot of deer? You seeing antlers grow?
Yes, you're seeing a big difference in the antlers, and the does are increasing. Yeah, the does are having 2 fawns, you know, instead of 1, or missing that. They're having two a year.
How, you know, you sit in this redneck, how many deer are you probably seeing in an afternoon out here?
You see 15 or 20 in the afternoon.
Whew, talk about a target-rich environment. Well, we're going to keep on going. You're probably seeing some smoke go across our face here because we actually got a fire right over here. We're going to check out some pines that they've thinned. They've added food. They have done a great job implementing the plan, and it's paying off. So come along. Let's check out this property and see what else we find. And we were just in a food plot that I mentioned was a big old cutover that they converted into a high quality food source. Now here on this side, this is the same cutover. This is what that food plot would have looked like right now. You look through here, there's nothing for a deer. Nothing along the ground, no food. It's a little covered just because no one's really going in there. It's so thick, but it's not offering quality cover or food for deer. The acres we turned from this into a high quality food plot, man, much more productive per acre. We're getting tons and tons of food out there. We can pack more critters into the area than what this cutover had become. Now, this is down the road. We're going to work on this as well. That's one reason I'm here today. Got some ideas what we're going to do in this area, but just want to give you a little look at what it would look like if we hadn't created a food plot. And boy, am I glad we did, and so is the landowner, because they're killing a lot of deer out of that big food source. Here's another great example. Here we've got some well-managed pines. We got grasses, forbs underneath, great habitat at a deer's level. It's that 0 to 3 foot high. Over here, that same cutover, there's nothing on the ground. No one's probably going in here, so there's probably a little security cover because it's just so thick and nasty. But when you're talking maximizing your acres, having food and cover, this looks incredible. I'm gonna step over here and James is gonna kind of share the process that we went through to get these pines looking so good. How much did we thin the pines? What was under here before? And just kind of walk us through that process, James.
Okay, we'll start with when we first bought the place, it was it was thick pines. They'd been thinned one time. A lot of sweet gum growing up in it, and we had got a forester come in and with his skid steer with a sprayer on it and spray it. And then after that, we came back. When Grant came here, he said recommended we cut back to 60 basal feet per acre. We did that, and that's what we got now.
And that's 45 to 60 basal. We may grow into a 45 at some, on other projects or something, but somewhere between that 45 to 60 basal area per acre allows enough sunlight down to the ground to get stuff growing. If we're a little higher, we don't have quite the amount of sunlight. So what did it look like before you did the thinning at ground level?
It was just a lot of saplings and stuff growing up in it. And it was just thick. You couldn't hardly walk through it.
Would you see a lot of deer coming in and out of there?
No, not a lot. No,
they were just
drifting dead. It was towards deer.
And what do you see now? You see a lot of deer in through?
Deer moving in it, bedding in it, and then feeding in it.
In fact, we actually just saw a sounder of hogs come running out of here. I mean, critters are using this because this is where critters live. Just a great example of, throughout the property where critters are hanging. You guys were telling me that before you started doing all this, you didn't hear many quail. Now you guys are hearing a bunch of quail.
In the afternoon, you'll hear them all through the property, especially where the pines are.
And tell me about the turkey population.
Turkey population increased, and then we seeing quite a few more than what we did before. Usually it was just one or two coming through every now and then. Now we're seeing a lot more here.
And they're killing those turkeys too.
Yeah.
So having some good hunts.
Absolutely.
So pines look awesome. Got a lot of sunlight getting to the ground in the timber, in the pines. And then we also now got a bunch of sunlight hitting the ground in the food plots. And this property is cooking. From the habitat point of view, not just the pines, but just the whole plan as it's all come together. What are your observations, James? You're the guy out here, hands-on, doing a lot of these projects, directing projects. As that part of that property manager, what are you seeing?
Well, the goal was to have more deer, have bigger deer, and we're definitely seeing more deer, and the deer are bigger than what they were when we first got here.
Drove through an area where they were doing a prescribed fire today in the pines. Pines are very fire resistant. Fire looks great. It's knocking down this grass. Of course, that grass is making seed heads this time of year. That fire's removing the duff layer. Those seeds are hitting the soil. We're gonna have a great germination of grass going into this next year. But we wanna make sure we rotate that between that dormant season and warm season fire rotation. That way we don't get too grass heavy. Grass is dominated by that dormant season fire. Growing season fires will be that forb component, but have done a great job in these pines.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Green Cover Food Plots, Winchester, PH Outdoors, Black Widow Bows, Moultrie, Steel, Fleet Outdoor Apparel, Morel Targets, Fourth Arrow, Soil Pro Outdoors, Scorpion Venom Archery, Case IH Tractors, Burris Optics, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
James, we're just finishing up kind of the tour of the property, and we've come back to this little food plot back here. This is what, 2 acres, something like that?
2 acres.
And this is a field that was small enough. Planting beans, they just got browsed to the ground, and then we have weeds come up and have some issues. So what we did was, James came in, planted the summer release, is that correct?
Yes.
Summer release, you see sunflower here and you see a bunch of milo heads out behind us. And we still got that grain component. And then you planted the fall release in here.
Yes.
What's so great about that is that milo isn't quite as palatable during the summer as beans are. So it can grow. And then you still had enough sunlight reaching the ground that we could drill right into it. And we got our fall release coming right through here. So we got grains and greens. And this is just an area that we're able to do. If you can't grow beans, this works too. You got those grains for those colder days, get those carbohydrates, and then the green underneath for maybe those warmer days and going into winter. That's what we use at the proving grounds because we can't grow beans. Use this same blend. And James, for deer activity, what would you say you saw on this plot?
Well, it was just anytime you come in the afternoon, it's covered up with deer.
So it was working good.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you ever see deer coming out and browsing on the grain?
Yeah, the grain sorghum or
the Milo.
Milo,
Yep.
yes, they'd come out just eat it like they were right the tops of it.
Yeah. And you see some heads still out here. You saw some beans on some of the other plots. And the reason why was this property, like many across the South, had a bumper crop of acorns. So we've been talking, James was asking how many does should we be harvesting next season? Because you didn't see very many this year, right? While you were hunting.
Yeah, right.
You saw some good numbers, but not like what you were expecting.
Right.
And it was probably those deer are on acorns. And we were talking, you don't want to get psyched out and think, oh, there's no deer here. We're going to back off our doe management. Next year, we're probably going to go in pretty hungry, looking for those does opening day, because we know we're probably, we could, but probably not going to have just a bumper crop of acorns back to back. So it's likely those does are going to be piling in these food plots, and we want to keep more groceries out here than the deer can consume. That's how we're growing those big antlers, right, James?
Right. Yeah, you take the does.
Got to take those does. And you've got great food going into spring. A lot of clover through here. Everything's looking really good. James and the landowner have done an incredible job managing and turning this property around. I cannot just go on enough about what they've done and the results they're seeing, because they're just doing great land management, prescribed fire, implementing the plan on planting their food plot rotation, and have just done a great job. Hey, this is just a great example that you can go out there and start working on your property, no matter the acreage, and start improving, get your hands dirty, light a match, get some seed, maybe plant this summer, change some things up, and get your property really cooking. But no matter what you're doing, I hope you slow down this week, listen to the Creator and the purpose He has for your life. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.